Technical difficulties there, folks. But we are back. One time for the fan.
Yeah, forgot what you say in the beginning.
I think I do. I think I did.
You already knew what it did.
We already knew what it did. All right, let's start over.
You already knew what it did.
Start over. All right, you know what it is? You already know what it is? You already know what it do.
We back.
One time for the fan. We back. Like that. I mentioned it last week, Bodie, when he wasn't here. I said that's when Bodie jumps into what I say, and then y'all will hear about it, man. Let's talk to guys. One time for the fan. We back.
One time for the A.
We live.
One time for the Falcons. You know we back. One time for the fan. Jack Spade here. Bodie 3000 here with me. Chase is back here with us talking Falcons football. And it's always great. Another Sunday closer to the NFL season. Not too close, though. But close, but still far away. But it's exciting. Chase, Bodie, how y'all doing? How's everything going for y'all?
Blessed, brother. Can't complain. Life's changed since I've been on the show, finally in a new place. So I'm blessed, dog. Can't complain.
That is true. That is true. Congratulations to you too as well. You're doing great over there, brother. So continue doing what you do every single day to take care of the family. And also, you bring a lot of positivity here to the Falcons fan base. So shout out to that too as well. But Chase is always glad to have you here on the podcast, and we got you back. We got you back. Sir. So you got an hour, and so we can talk some Falcons football here. Falcon fans, hit that like button, hit that share button, hit the subscribe button. Bodie 3000, the professor, is here. Glad to see you back, sir.
Yeah.
No, you've had a long week yourself. We held it down without you, though, my brother. We held it down.
Yeah, man. Wanted to say just congrats, Chase, on the place. Jack will be able to cut your grass on Thursday.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you already knew that. But yeah, man, I'm back too. It's just been a long week for me, but it's been a productive week. Got a lot done, so let's talk Falcons.
That's always good to hear. Falcon fans, we're doing good. Hope y'all are doing good too as well. Episode, what, Bodie, like 97, 98, 90, 100,
like 90
110.
But we'll get that up. So
we're up there. Shout out to everybody who's been supporting One Time for the Fan with the likes and the shares and the subscribes. I see we now have, I guess, unlocked the star system as well on Facebook too as well. So if you do decide to send some stars, shout out to you too as well. But yeah, we're diehard Atlanta Falcons fans. We keep it real here on the podcast when it comes to Atlanta Falcons, and we love talking Falcons football. And that's what we're going to do.
Keeping it real right now. I'm hungry. Sorry.
God. Rule number 367 on the podcast. Sean's in the chat. Falcon fans, hit that like button, hit that share button, hit that subscribe button. We're going to talk about some Falcons off-season grades. All right? Because, of course, you know, there's still a lot of moves left to be made, but Falcon fans are just too excited. I mean, they're just constantly posting on Twitter and constantly posting in the groups on Facebook and just trying to get their point across about draft and free agency, what the Falcons are doing, what is Terry's doing. They're trying to get into the mind of Terry. Here on One Time for the Fan, we talk about the Falcons 24/7 too is locked. In our chat, in our group, you see on the One Time for the Fan page, in our Facebook group, One Time for the Atlanta Falcons, we're just diehard fans. So it's always good to chop it up with the fan base, find out what they got to think. But it is truly exciting here in this off season. So we'll get to some grades here shortly. PFF got a nice little grade for it. Nice little grade. We got to talk about that too as well. Deshaun Cox was in the building. He said, started from the bottom, now we're here. Started from the bottom, now my whole team here. Started from the bottom, now we're here. If I say the whole thing, Drake might sue.
Hey,
New ways to get
I was starting to believe Deshaun didn't know a song passed in 1997. Yeet. Yeet. It's all love, baby.
Appreciate you, Deshaun.
Always, man.
One time for the fan, hit that
First.
like button, hit that share button, hit that subscribe button. We are almost at 350 subscribers. So if you can go ahead and invite somebody who's never seen the podcast before. If you been here for a while, tag your Falcons friends, tag your Falcons family, share it to the groups. We just keep it real right here on One Time for the Fan. We got a lot to talk about tonight too as well. DJ dances in the building. He said, Deshaun, stay on go. Not 2 times, not 3 times, but there's only 1 time for the fan. Let's talk some football. That's why I should come in with the soundboard, buddy, with the breakdown, like, and we start talking football with like hot takes and shit.
Oh, is this the sports news from 94?
NBC broadcast. Say hello, fellas.
It's good, man.
Pamela. Toast to you.
The great Matthew Bass is in the building.
Matthew.
What's up, Matthew? Matty Ice. A name very familiar to Falcon fans here in Atlanta. Bubba Gump's in the building, checking in with the red and black.
It's cracking. Welcome.
Lyrics mom's in the building. She said, "Hey, family. Hey, hello.
What's good, Karen?
Yeah, how you doing?
Good to see you. Good to see you.
Bubba Gump. Shout out to Lyrics mom for holding down Twitter.
Shout out to Lyrics mom for holding down social media.
She's doing ham.
Especially for the Falcons. I appreciate you. Don't nobody tell you I appreciate you.
Kara, we need you to tweet that you're going to throw your draws at One Time for the Fan. That right there would go viral. Kenny's in the building. Said, "What's up, fellas?" I gave us the A on free agency. Uncle Terry. He on the phone.
He on the grill.
Uncle Terry, on the grill. Uncle Terry been hustling on these streets. Can't wait to see what we doing. The draft, keep up. The great show, fellas. I'll be watching. Shout out to Kenny.
Appreciate it, Kenny.
Checking in on YouTube. Falcon fans from all over, no matter where you're from. We keep it real here, talking Falcons football. And it's glad to have all these fans here in the chat. As you can see, we have legendary Falcon fans here from social media, from the Georgia Dome days, from Fulton County. I'm talking about, man, we got some diehard fans up in here when it comes to the Atlanta Falcons. Eric Parker.
You talking about grit splits? You talking about all that?
Is up in the building. Jeff Wolf.
I know he know about grit splits.
Hawks plug calling. Hawks plug calling. Might send a text. Lisa Shepard's in the building. Shout out to the Hawks plug calling, the one who dropped the first name. Lisa Shepard's in the building.
Lisa. That's it, Lisa.
The Loach is in the building.
Yes, sir.
Welcome back. Chilling.
Paul Hopkins in the building. Is Leonard Fournette available?
I think he got signed by the USFL.
Shit. Heading over there to XFL already. If Fournette is available, I believe he still is. I don't see him being a potential candidate here for this roster. Not a name that we've spoke up here at One Time for the Fan, and from a lot of the Falcons journalists and media, haven't heard too much about Fournette having any connection to Atlanta or meeting with Atlanta. Looking at the running back room, we're going to get to that shortly. That's why I love talking with Falcons football, because we go from a comment straight into what we want to talk about. That's why I love talking Falcons football. Now, if you're looking at the roster, look at the running back room. Tyler Algier, CP, Huntley, who we still have here right now at the moment. I know he went through the injury. And Avery Williams. A lot of fans are trying to find out, are the Falcons going to draft a running back? Are they going to bring in a running back through free agency? And we're going to talk about that here on One Time for the Fan coming up, because we have a lot going on leading up to the draft. I think they're going to draft one. It's tough to say looking at that running back room if Caleb's going to be here next year. I'd love for Caleb to be here next year, but guess what? I don't make the decisions here in Atlanta. So it's something to look at. But Chase, Bodie, Leonard Fournette, a name that you guys would like to add to the roster here. Don't forget, we're not the organization. I mean, we're just giving our opinions, but still, Leonard Fournette, any talks about that?
I haven't heard any about Leonard Fournette. Leonard Fournette's that veteran running back that you're going to sign for like a 1 or 2 year deal. We already have that in CP. I don't think there's any spot for Fournette on this roster.
Bodie?
I feel like it's just so many running backs. I mean, you see, we got our starting running back out of the 5th round.
Mm-hmm.
It's so easy to get a running back. The starting running back in the Super Bowl came from the 7th round of this past draft. It's so easy to fill that position. And that's why I feel like running backs got to stay healthy. If they get injured, they really get docked. And it's no fault of their own. It just happens that way. And it's so easy because there's so many good running backs that come out the draft every year.
Mm-hmm.
So to me, it's almost a foregone conclusion that we're going to draft another running back, at least. It won't be early. I don't think it shouldn't be. It better
Later
not
rounds.
be. Better not be. But yeah. So Leonard Fournette, yeah. I mean, he was once a touted prospect, but now not so much.
Falcon fans, hit that like button, hit that share button, hit that subscribe button. Just talking quickly about the running back room here in Atlanta. I do think they're probably going to draft one too as well. CP also posted on Instagram, I think a couple days ago, like a week or so ago, about asking for an extension. I don't know how far that was, if it was a joke or not, but I'm guessing, hey, you're an NFL player coming to the end of your career in some ways. I mean, what is he, 30?
He's 32.
32. I mean, I'd love to see CP here up until he's totally finished with the NFL. I think, we got him in the later years. I'd love to have CP earlier in his career, but he is a big part of what this offense is. But to see the Falcons have magic drafting Tyler last year, their scouting department is working some magic when it comes to the running back room. But yeah, go ahead, Bodie.
I would say, and we used them the most effective. I mean, we out of his whole career, we used him the best way anybody has ever used him. So I take pride in that, and that's probably why he loved being here so much, because we use them everywhere. We got away from that last year, but I think there's no reason why we can't go back to that. But we'll see.
Falcon fans, Vincent Coakley's in the building. Pamela Johnson also said, I am running back. BJ maybe trade back. We're going to talk a little bit about the draft tonight. I don't see a trade back coming for the Falcons right now. Looking at the value of what you're probably going to get when you go into a trade back for some of these players, you're going to find somebody who can fit in the top 10. You can find that guy. And we're going to drop some names here tonight that we want Falcon fans to hear in the top 10 that can be a big part of the Atlanta Falcons going forward. We got some names here, and I'm sure you guys know some of these players from following ESPN or college football or NFL Network, however, but there's some names that would just improve, whether it's the defensive line, secondary. I ain't gonna lie, the offensive line too. We got some players here we're gonna name. Y'all gonna be surprised by one of the names, so just be on the lookout for that. Falcon fans, bring your questions too as well. We want to answer y'all questions. I know in the past we've had some special guests, haven't been able to get to all the comments, but we're rolling tonight. So definitely let's make sure the Falcon fans are entertained here. Of course, here on One Time for the Fan, it's all about the fans. Last week, we had Savion. Shout out to Savion Mixon from around the block.
Yeah, man.
Came over and talked some Falcons football. And then our special guest co-host who left dirt marks all in the doggone driveway, Big Country from Big Low Country Sports. He has a nice podcast too as well out here representing the Falcons community in a positive way. But shout out to Country to stop through. Shout out to Savion to stop through. We talked some free agents. We talked some draft. And we mentioned a player on the screen. If we go back and look at the screen from last week, we mentioned a player that would be a nice fit for the Falcons, looking at the free agents that were left available. One of the names that we mentioned was Mac Hollins. Shortly after the stream was over, the Falcons announced that Mac Hollins is signing with the Atlanta Falcons. It ain't no inside source type of thing. We're on here talking Chase, you can't use Boost Mobile for the internet, bro.
Yeah, damn. I think he ain't using Boost Mobile. I think he's boosting McDonald's Wi-Fi.
God,
Neither here nor there.
it's like a 300-foot cable.
God damn, I don't know. On the hitting the outside, they got a Ethernet port on the outside of the building.
Shit, one time for the fan. Cree's in the building. What's up, Cree?
Hey, how you doing?
Shout out to all the
Welcome.
Falcon fans. Hit that like button, hit that share button, hit that subscribe button. But yes, we mentioned Mac Hollins last week would be a nice fit for the Atlanta Falcons from looking at the wide receivers that were left available. Damn, Hawks just lost. After hearing that Mac Hollins was signed, Bodie, I know you wasn't on the podcast last week, but what was your thoughts going through your mind when you heard the name Mac Hollins? I know we missed out on Adam Thielen. I know we missed out on Miko Hardman. But hearing the name Mac Hollins, he is definitely a wide receiver too. The stats prove it. Looking at his numbers from over the years too as well, and pretty much what he can do with the offense. I wouldn't give it a B for a Mac Hollins move. More like a C+ in a way. You gave him a 1-year deal too as well, so they haven't locked in a wide receiver 2 next to Drake. Knowing Pitt's role going forward this season, who knows he's going to be more in that pass catching role because, of course, you're going to use Pitts a lot more on the outside with Jonnu Smith. But just your thoughts, Bodie, when they signed Mac Hollins.
Falcons want to run the ball. That's all I thought. I mean, it wasn't more so looking for a wide receiver too. It was more so of looking for a good receiver who can you can toss it up in the end zone. Because he's 6'4", I think, big, long, he can go get it, and a good blocker because that's exactly what he is. He is a very good blocker. That's why that run game was going. We were saying, okay, well, Terry was looking for these big receivers. I mean, there's a reason why he's looking for these big receivers. Let's be real. I mean, Terry like to run that ball.
Them red zone targets and running the ball is big.
He running the piss out the ball. Okay, yeah. He get good blockers. He get them big, tall blocking receivers that know how to move people. And let's be real. Wide receiver 1 is London. Wide receiver 2, Kyle Pitts. Let's be real. Okay, it's Kyle Pitts. All right, it is what it is. All right, we might never get a.
We do. I think we can kind of say that this season Kyle Pitts will catch more passes than Mac Hollins. I think we know that. I think CP will have to catch more passes than Mac Hollins.
I think I can bet a good dub on that. Yeah. I mean, wide receiver 2 is Kyle Pitts. We don't. I know in my head I always was like, oh, we're looking for this wide receiver 2 productive, about 800 to 1,000 yards, maybe wide receiver 2. That ain't what this system is. That we don't run that. We don't run. Our wide receiver 2 ain't gonna get 800 to 1,000 yards. It's just not gonna happen. Kyle Pitts will get that before the wide receiver 2 do. So we're just looking for big tall receivers who can block their ass off, who can get out on the edge, and who can just make holes and catch jump balls and get be big targets when the quarterback does need a receiver target. So
there's going to be a lot of situations where Desmond Ridder's going to need, especially down in the red zone, could be a jump ball situation. You have Pitts, you have London, you have Mac Hollins out there. No more Brian Edwards. So no need to worry about that. We don't have Mariota either, so don't need to worry about that. I think the decision making when you have a guy like Desmond Ridder now and you're building around him with some of these pieces. I know Mac Hollins isn't the flashiest move.
No, it's not.
But if you're looking at how you're getting ready to build this team, if you're trying to get into the mind of Arthur Smith, they're going to run the piss out this damn ball.
Yeah, that's what he said.
And I know running backs ain't getting paid that much right now in the NFL, but he going to run the piss out this damn ball. You heard it on that damn tape earlier last year. What do you say when you went called upstairs? Hey, you ready up there? You ready? We about to run the ball. We about to run the ball 20 times right now.
And that's another reason. The way you said it, running backs don't get paid as much because there's so many. You can find them everywhere.
I can play running back too.
Undrafted free. No, you can't. You can find an undrafted free agent. We can find the 7th round all the way to the 1st, like all over the draft. You can find a running back.
Yeah, but we ain't talking about that right now. We're talking about this right now. I can play running back. Check this out. I know I can throw 80 on the run, right? And all this tape coming out with Cam throwing and CJ throwing and Bryce throwing, I can put a tape out too. I just don't want to. But, we'll get to that later. One time for the fan. Ben Wade,
Rise
Rise
up.
up.
Rise up.
Falcon fans, just a little bit of information here. Nate Tice put something out interesting right here. He said Arthur Smith and the Falcons love running in-breaking routes and big pass catchers, and no wide receiver in the NFL ran more routes labeled as the in route in 2022 than the 6'4", 221 Mac Hollins. That should just let you know a little bit about what Mac Hollins' role could be here when he gets to Atlanta. Of course, he's here right now, but of course, when he gets on the field, it's going to be a lot of blocking. You're a big physical body. You can put some DBs at a disadvantage, especially on the edge.
Mm-hmm.
You can 6'4", 221. You damn lay some safeties out.
Oh yeah.
And some of these lanes we got last year, you're probably gonna get a chance to open them up even more now, knowing that you've seen Tyler's potential, what he can do. He's a gem. He's a diamond. CP2 as well. The elusiveness still a CP at his age. And then you're probably gonna add to that too as well. Who just dropped this in the chat? Somebody just dropped this in the chat. Went over some. There it is. Roshan Johnson and Tajay Spears.
I like both of those guys.
You don't know who you're going to add here when you look at the running back room, but I must say, I mean, Mac Hollins is going to be a big part of this run game.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he's going to catch a couple passes too as well in the end zone, because if you're guarding CP and you're guarding Pitts and you're guarding Drake London and you got Tyler back there goes Mac Hollins. And you know Jonnu too as well. We haven't even mentioned Jonnu again.
Yeah.
This offense is going to be explosive, I must say. And if you just, hoping that Desmond Ridder fails to go get another quarterback next year, please, Falcon fans, don't do that. The season hasn't even started yet. But if looking at this offense, CP and Kyle Pitts and Drake London, Mac Hollins, I understand, Jonnu Smith, but geez, man, we got some weapons here.
And see, that's the thing. That's the thing about Arthur Smith's offense. We got an eye ahead how we think Arthur Smith's offense should be. And he should have, 2 running backs, he should have 2 receiving tight ends, he should have a number 2 that's very productive and blah blah blah. Arthur Smith knows exactly what he wants for his offense, and this is how he's following. He had all the money in the world to get Mecole or all that speedster people that we think he should get, but he got who he wanted to get for his offense, and I think we still got answers at the guard position. We got to see if we're going to sign Elijah back or we're going to draft somebody or get somebody else. But otherwise, the offense this is his offense. This is what he did in Tennessee. The big-ass receivers.
It's like Lieutenant Dan said. This is your first full season of actually seeing what Arthur Smith wants in a football team. This is his first actual season. I see it now.
Man, you have to slap me in the face with it, but I see it now. Yeah, this is what he wants in his offense.
If you're looking at
big, rugged ass offense.
If you're looking at the moves right now that the Falcons made, I must say they are doing very well. We'll get to the PFF grade here shortly. Falcon fans are in the chat, excited about the upcoming season, but you still need help at wide receiver.
Yes,
make no mistake, you still need help at wide receiver.
When you talk about big body receivers, you got to also think about. If anybody watched the combine, these cornerbacks and safeties now are running 4.3s, 4.2s. They're running faster than your receivers. So the tall body works, but I think you still can look for that speedy receiver, like as in somebody other than Zacchaeus, maybe.
See, Absolutely. And we talked about that in the one time for the fan chat, because if you're looking at your roster right now, you do need another receiver, and you got some big bodies with Drake London and Mac Hollins. Don't forget about Pitts. I know he's not in the wide receiver group, but still, you have a big body when you line it up out there on the field. Yep. You're going to need a speedster, a flashy route runner in between. Somebody who can get in between space, somebody who can get between zones. That's where you're back in the days. It was like Tavon Austin.
Somebody I feel like you could grab in the.
What's the guy's name? The Patriots, Edelman. You need guys who can get in. You see what's on the outside.
And have you watched Tavon? There's this cat named Rashee Rice coming out of the draft. He's projected later second, early third. He's a speedster, and the kid's got good tape. Just check him out next time you get the chance.
You see, I like Jordan Addison too, but I also know that Jordan Addison probably is going to be off the board before we even get a chance to. If we wanted to trade back up and get him at the end of the first or close to the second, if he drops to the second, I mean, I don't know the route the Falcons are going to take with this draft. We know some of the positions that they need.
This
running
draft
is one. It's not going to be your first roundo. Wide receiver is another one that you need. It's not going to be your first roundo. Corner, Another one I believe that you need too as well. It's not going to. I'll get to that. D line,
Yeah,
too as well. You want to look out for that too as well.
Yeah.
And of course, offensive line. They haven't addressed the guard position yet. I want news to come down about Elijah Wilkinson or somebody who's going to fill that guard position. If you're going into draft day with that guard position not being filled,
that's a
you
big
will show up to Atlantic Station and be falconed. You know, right now.
I hate
it's
that.
a good move.
For the good.
Yeah, I'm feeling good about it, but we'll see.
Falcon fans, we got some more news this week. Mac Hollins was not only one of the players that came back to the Atlanta Falcons or was signed by the Atlanta Falcons. I mean, Eddie Goldman coming out of retirement. What the hell?
Huge.
If you're looking at this line now, hearing the news about Eddie Goldman, I know a lot of Falcon fans probably forgot about that. Yeah, he was supposed to play last year. Wish we would have had him too.
Forgot about
Really
him.
wish we would have had him. What's up, Bodie?
I said, yeah, we all forgot about him. It was over. What the hell?
Bodie did a breakdown of Eddie Goldman as soon as the Falcons signed him. Then, like, less than 2 days later, like, you heard the news and it was like, bro, what are we going to do with the breakdown? Like, we just did the breakdown.
It broke us down.
Whole 30-minute segment just dedicated to Eddie Goldman. Then he retired. But guess what? He comes out of retirement. I don't know how the phone call went. I don't know what happened. But that was music to my ears, and also it was some news chase I wasn't expecting.
No.
Hearing Eddie Goldman come out of retirement now, David Amiata, Grady Jarrett, Eddie Goldman. Mm-hmm. The news also that they brought in Calais Campbell, for an interview. I mean, come on here. If you was able to get Calais Campbell to as well to add to this line, it's going to be crazy. But Chase, Bodie, the news about Eddie Goldman, what does he add now back to your team? You got some pieces now around Eddie. You got some pieces around Grady. What is your thoughts on just Eddie Goldman?
When you talk about Eddie Goldman, man, you just look at the players that he's going to be playing beside. Aminata, Grady Jarrett, and then whoever potentially we draft. So, I mean, you just think about rotation pieces, and with Taquan Graham coming back, that's a fresh front four, front three, whatever we play this season. That's a fresh line every down. So if you think about that, I mean, that's huge, something that we didn't have a lot of depth in. We were looking to sign later on, 28, 29, 30-year-old veterans that we were filling in to hope this piece works. But this is a player that's shown he can work. To me, he plays just like Grady. He's that big body that can stuff a hole, and his run stop's phenomenal.
From run stuffs to getting to the quarterback, tackle, just getting to the backfield, Eddie Goldman is a problem. When we brought him here to Atlanta last year, the excitement was through the roof, especially for me, because I'm a defensive guy. So hearing Eddie Goldman get signed here, I was like, bruh, you got to be kidding me. I mean, it's not the biggest name in the NFL, but what he has done here in the NFL at his position, it's a big target here in the NFC South now, looking at the Saints, the Panthers, the Bucks, looking at what they're doing. To see Eddie Goldman walk on that field week one next to Grady, next to David, oh my gosh. Mm-hmm. Falcon fans, you better hope teams, I'm telling you, man, opposing teams coming inside this damn stadium, I'm telling you, we're going to put you on your ass.
Yeah.
We got some damn players on defense right now. Troy Anderson, from what he did last season too as well. AJ Terrell, who's still with us. Jesse Bates. I mean, we're going to go over some of the moves the Falcons made already. But Bodie, Eddie Goldman here back with the Falcons. And just from hearing from the Falcons journalists, he's going to play. That's why he's coming back.
Yeah.
So your thoughts about that, Bodie?
Because if he wasn't going to play, they wouldn't. He just go off in the sunset. We'd never hear about him again. You don't reactivate somebody to not play. He's gonna play. Brought back up my breakdown notes for y'all who forgot who this MNF was. 6'3", 225, 7-year pro, Florida State. He played with Crab Legs, won that national championship down there. Mm-hmm. Y'all know what Crab Legs is. He was 28 when I made it, and he's damn near 30. I need to change these notes. I forgot about this.
I'm glad you found the notes. Was there like a vault or like the backseat of the Honda? Like what happened?
But I had to.
Gosh.
All right, but yeah, career starts of 80. He's 73 out of his 81 games he played in. He started, so he's a starter. Okay, mind you, he ain't played in about 2 years, but he's 175 tackles over his career, 13 sacks, 2 fumble recoveries, a pass deflection, 18 tackles for loss. And his sack total is low. He's not a sack master, but he covers the A gaps against runs. Mm-hmm. That's his bread and butter. That's where he makes his money. Mm-hmm. He's the perfect rotation player. Like at this point in his career, especially after not playing for a while, bringing him in as a rotation player, a fresh leg, so he can just come in and give you all the juice he got to blow up the backfield. That's perfect because this is a starter normally. And he need to get his sea legs back up from under him, but he's a starter. If we probably will end up making more defensive line moves. So him being in a rotation, you saw what the hell the Eagles did, okay? Mm-hmm. They had a deep-ass rotation of D linemen, and they was
looking at them right
people.
Now. Yeah.
But, I mean, let's be real. That is the new wave. I hope all these defensive coordinators are paying attention. I mean, my Georgia Bulldogs been doing it for years. Mm-hmm. They keep folks fresh, and they're always fresh, even when the offense is tired. So that is very important. So I hope we keep stacking that D line, keep bringing guys in to rotate, and D line's 1,000 light years better than it was last year. We're not gonna have fucking 18 to 20 sacks this year. I can bet a dub on that. So
well, if you just brought in, I mean, with some of the moves the Falcons have made, we're going to go over that. But, I mean, David Onyemata next to Eddie Goldman and Grady Jarrett is huge.
Yes.
Because for some Falcon fans, you're looking at Eddie. Where is he going to fit over here? Bodie just said it. Eddie's damn near a starter. He's going to be on the field week 1. I probably see Eddie on the first play of the game next to Grady. I'm looking at David, Grady, and Eddie on the field first play of the game. What I'm also looking at is who's going to be beside them. However they roll out, wherever Carter's going to be, or Ebiketie going to be, or if it could be another guy.
It can even open up for Taquan Graham. It'll open up for the pass rushers, the linebackers we got, or AK.
You end up signing Calais Campbell too as well. He's not going to be on the sideline holding his helmet.
No.
He's going to be on the field over there getting to the quarterback. And that D line is going to be looking. That's why I was excited about the Calais Campbell move. Because I'm like, whoa, this is big. If you end up signing Calais Campbell, the leadership that he can bring to that locker room. He's a true veteran in the NFL. Some would say he's a Hall of Famer. From looking at the stats, what he has 99 career sacks.
99 career sacks.
He was going to get his 100th, definitely playing with us because he's going to get to the quarterback. How many sacks he had last year, Bodie? At 36?
Five
sacks?
5.5.
Falcon fans, for those that were saying he's too old, he's too slow, don't bring him in. The man had 5.5 sacks at 36 years old.
I want that production. If he was on this team with 5.5 sacks last year, he would have led the team in sacks. Y'all realize that?
Falcon fans.
Just to have another person with sacks would have been great.
I know Calais is meeting with other teams right now, and it looks like it's probably, of course, Mr. Calais' decision.
Man, he's doing his due diligence.
The Falcons would have threw the bag. They would have threw the bag. He met with the Jags too as well. Mm-hmm. He also, I think he's meeting with the Bills or the Cowboys or somebody. Bills. So teams are interested even in this 37-year-old veteran because he can bring a lot to the team. It's not just about his age. It's about his presence in the locker room and on that field. And when he was playing back in his earlier days too as well, he was the dominant force, and he's still a dominant force right now. Which is why if you go into the draft, and we're going to talk about that, why a Jalen Carter can fit. Fans are saying, don't draft Jalen. Do not draft Jalen. Do not. It's the college situation when he had after the national championship and then adding on 9 pounds and then they can't finish the drills at the Falcon fans are going. There's some fans are going off about this. If you're looking at your D line, and we're going in from segment to segment, like out of your Falcon mindset, we're cooking. We're cooking. We said, "What's cracking? What's cracking?" I'm sorry.
Yeah, you can't read.
Cooking out here. No, man, I'm looking over here. The chat, I'm scrolling like this back and forth, looking. I was like, okay,
that's the thing. All that shit with Jalen wouldn't have happened None of that shit would happen. What would we talk about right now?
Exactly.
And maybe he would even came 5 pounds overweight. That would have been a slight tick on his shit, or 9 pounds, whatever the hell it was. If all that shit didn't happen, we'd be saying he's the number one prospect in this draft. He'd be number one on folks' big board. Mel Kiper, Todd McShay, Bodie 3000. Still number one on my goddamn big board. You telling me we were just talking about this guy being a generational talent, and now you telling me we just gonna let him go if he comes to us?
Now, you hear how
Explain
Bodie's going off as we're going on Jalen Carter.
Explain
We're going to talk a little bit about it shortly as we get to our draft segment. We do want to get to something else here shortly. The Falcons still have some players from last season that you can still look at too as well to help this roster. Bodie, Chase.
Yeah.
Rashard Evans' names is still out there right now. Are you going to bring him back? Zacchaeus, Damiere Byrd, Elijah Wilkinson, Michael Pruitt. If I bring up the roster right now, you're going to look at some of the players the Falcons have, and you're going to wonder, well, some of these players just can't fit. If you add Michael Pruitt back, I'm sure fans are going to want Franks out the door. You still have John Fitzpatrick, too, as well. You have John Rainey. You have Parker Hesse. You have Jonnu Smith and Kyle Pitts. Don't think they're going in with 5 tight ends week 1. No. So it's going to be a critical situation on who you add here, which is why the Darnell Washington and then the other tight end pick out of when I do our drafting, I'm going to bring these names up next week. The other tight end pick, people was like, man, you got to get him in the second, get him in the third. I don't see the Falcons drafting the tight end.
No, not at this point.
I just don't see the Falcons drafting the tight end because you still have Michael Pruitt that was in-house last year that you can bring back that Falcon fans would love to have back. So no need to draft. When you traded for Jonnu, the 7th, you traded the 7th for Jonnu that's going to be on your field week 1.
Yeah.
Thank you, Terry. Appreciate that.
Yeah. That's the 7th we got for somebody in another
Fenton.
trade.
Was that Fenton's deal
Fenton?
we had?
Was it
Fenton.
No. We traded it. Didn't we trade a 7 for him?
Oh, no. That was Dean Marlowe.
Dean Marlowe.
To the Bills.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, we traded a 7 for Fenton, but we got a 7 back for Dean Marlowe. Yeah. And that's the one we sent off.
Let's get to some grades here before we get to our draft. We talked about Mac Hollins. We talked about Eddie Goldman. Calais Campbell news too as well. Falcons have been improving the roster since day one. They've been working on this roster to get back to business. I think this is going to be the year, Falcon fans, that we at least can say we're going to have a winning record. We're going to probably be on the way to the playoffs. I can see that happening this year. You're building up a very good team on both sides of the ball. You still have more free agency ahead of you. You still have the draft ahead of you. You still have the preseason ahead of you. And some of these names that's in the building right now is truly scaring a lot of NFC teams. I'm telling you right now. Chase, what you got?
Just saying, I need that week 1 W, man. We ain't had one of those in a minute.
That'd be big because a week 1 home opener W would be big. And then it'll be the first time in, I believe, 5 or 6 years that you would have a winning record.
Yeah.
Don't want to say it's embarrassing, but it's downright embarrassing.
Effing embarrassing.
I'm a diehard Falcons fan. Bodie is too. Chase is too. Every fan in this chat is too. To start the year off week 1 with a win would be amazing. Truly, it would be. Not talking about what Desmond Ridder did back in the Dome when he beat Brady and the Cardinals. I'm talking about week 1 coming up here in 2023. That would set the tone for a lot going forward, especially if it's a week 1 home win. That'd be big right there too as well. Falcons free agency and of course off-season moves. The extension to Chris Lindstrom, that was major. Caleb McGarry too as well.
Oh yeah,
that was major. That's why I want to see Elijah Wilkinson come back because of this offensive line being together. You heard about Jermaine Ifedi also re-signed too as well. So that's pretty big. So behind Caleb is Jermaine Ifedi. So that's good that you can see that reunion still again going on for a second year. Elijah will be perfect to get back. Chase, you mentioned it. The injuries is something to look at. You can get a little bit more better right now in the free agency. There's a couple guards out there still a decent, solid fit, but Elijah did well last year up until the injury. Even when he came back, they put him right back in the starting rotation.
Yeah.
Well, what about Matt Hennessy, man? That's a name that you can't throw away from left guard. That's the guy that they started a game this season at left guard.
Started a game this season versus started the entire season. I think for me, is totally different from Matt.
Yeah,
Hennessy.
I mean, no doubt, but it's what Smith and them want. It's never.
That is true.
Never know.
That is true. I want to see Elijah Wilkinson back in the league.
If they're exploring every option now.
Yeah.
Center. Did we even talk about what we're doing in center?
We haven't talked about it because we know last season
they said they were
the praise for Dahlman.
Yeah, they were zoned in on Dahlman.
Yeah,
and they haven't addressed center too as well. And there's two solid centers out there in the market.
Yeah. I think he made those comments about the center towards the end of the season. As in, he wasn't going to make a move at center.
And we see now in the free agency, and there's still more days left available. There's still more time to do some things. A lot of moves can be made. Terry's a smart man. He's trying to build this team literally back from the ground up, and he's doing a great job with it. But I must say, you didn't address the center position. You didn't address the guard position. You didn't address the X position. The Mac Hollins shows me you really didn't address the wide receiver position yet. Mm-hmm. Secondary too as well. You're looking at your draft board, Falcon fans. You're not using all your 8 picks either. You're not using them. It's not happening. I'm telling you right now. Jonnu Smith move. That was big. Jesse Bates, you brought him in. David Onyemata, you brought him. Tyler Heineke, which fans thought he was going to be the starter. News came out that he is definitely, it's still the competition battle. You know how it's going to happen. But he did say on the radio that he's the backup and Ritter is the starter. Mike Hughes, cornerback. Is that your slot? You heard Isaiah Oliver went to the 49ers. Falcons fans are hot about that. Y'all let Isaiah go? Man, I ain't that organization. Linebacker Tay Davis. Where is he going to fit into this system? Don't forget about him. We picked him up too as well. Wide receiver Mac Hollins. Caden Ellis, linebacker again. Yeah. 2 linebackers on this list right here. 1 safety, 1 defensive tackle, which Onyemata can play all over the place too as well.
Yeah.
You didn't address the eggs yet. Returning Falcons, Bradley Pinion, Keith Smith, Zoe Carter, Liam McCullum, Parker Hesse, Cornell Armstrong. I think you're doing a really good job right now, Terry. Still some names here available from the former Falcons from last year who can come back. Rashawn Evans is a name that Falcon fans are asking for. Zacchaeus is a name that Falcon fans are asking for. Are we going to see them back in Atlanta, Chase, Bodie? We don't know. But some of the moves the Falcons have made this offseason is definitely getting fans excited and the media excited. PFF just dropped this today. They talked about the offseason moves for the NFC South, and they gave out some grades. The Saints, sorry ass, they got a C.
Because they suck.
I don't even know how they got a C. I'm guessing because of the situation with the cap, how they was able to finesse it, which we all know is some myth.
Nah, they go.
Buccaneers with a B. Haven't heard too many moves from the Bucs other than resigning some players and crying about
Mayfield. That's the only center they get.
It's truly embarrassing. The one team that we talked about here on the podcast that we still don't like is the NFC South, but they have made some moves that they could be a contender against us in the next few years, and it's the Carolina Panthers. They get a B, right? I don't even know how the Bucs got a B. If it was me, I would have given the Saints a D. I would have given the Bucs a C. I would have given the Panthers a C minus. I would give the Falcons an A. He gave the Panthers, PFF gave the Panthers a B, gave the Falcons a B. And I must say, I kind of agree with this, Chase. I think in the NFC South, we nailed free agency better than any other team, looking at what our roster has been, looking at what the cap has been for us, our quarterback situation, everything in the past. The Falcons is the hottest team in the NFC South. Fuck the football. The Falcons is the hottest team in the NFC South.
I mean,
feel me?
You ask everybody else. The Panthers trading up to the number 1 pick is a very hot move. Okay.
That's a hot move that definitely raised their grade. Mm-hmm.
Can't ignore it. Can't ignore it. They signing all these weapons. They getting this damn quarterback.
We can't ignore the fact that they're ahead of us in cap space at this moment.
That too. That's the thing. They're ahead of cap space. They got whoever the quarterback is going to be.
Wait, what's cap space?
Yeah, it's a myth. But yeah, they've been setting their team up for success. Their defense is still decent. I mean, I'm just so stating facts. You know,
Yeah,
it is
yeah,
what
you
it
got
is.
to. We play them twice a year.
The Panthers looking, they're setting themselves up very well. Okay, I'll say that. I won't hate on them to say that they look like shit or they whatever, but they are setting themselves up well, which should have our antennas going, and we should counter. So
No doubt.
I seen the moves the Panthers made. I seen the moves the Bucks and the Saints made, and then the Falcons made. And I'm sitting here thinking, even if I take myself away from the Falcons fandom shit, the Falcons did make some incredible moves
without a doubt,
Yeah.
this
No doubt.
offseason.
without a doubt,
What
we
they've
fill
done in their
holes.
financials too as well. I mean, to get where they are today and where we could be next year to
To
cap space.
structure these deals. So whereas we still have 90 mil in cap space in a deeper free agency class next year is muy magnifico. Like that shit is great. Like that's great. So that's just thinking about Terry because he front loaded a lot of that money that he's giving these new guys, and he's restructured some contracts. Like John Noosh, I forgot what his contract is now.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry.
They restructured his contract.
They restructured, I
They
believe,
moved his money
most
around.
of everybody's contract who came into the building.
He's going to be here. I think he's making 11 and 12 mil, but they restructured that money. They probably gave it to him up front, like bonus money, so they could have cap space. They're doing it great. Okay, they're doing it great. So
1 year deal, 2.5 mil. Mac Hollins. Chase, any names that we just talked about that you would want to see here back in Atlanta, or are you just past that point and it's like, look, I think the free agency, we can still attack it. There's a couple more names out there I think that would fit this team. You've already seen some of the players who's fighting for a contract to come back here this year. We've already seen them play. We've seen Rashad Evans play. We've seen the Zacchaeus play here for 4 years, 3.5 or so. We've seen that. Damiere Byrd had 1 year. Are you still bringing? Are these some of the guys you want to bring back, Chase? Or are you still looking like, man, let's just go the other route?
I'm ready for change, man. I want something new. No disrespect to Zacchaeus or any other guys at Bird. You know, they all did their thing when they had their chances. You know, they shined at times. As far as Zacchaeus, I feel like you can get another player that is a Zacchaeus, if not maybe better than Zacchaeus. As I was mentioning, there's some players in the draft like Rashee Rice that you can get in the third round that's a speedster just like Zacchaeus.
A.T. Perry too.
Just a name that sticks out to me that if I would say that I'm cool with re-signing would have to be Rashad Evans. Just because of the fact that he was our tackle leader last year in a defense that wasn't so great. You know, that was your star player. That was the only player that, other than your corners, you had a couple corners that showed. But to me, Rashad Evans is the only other player that I'm going back to re-sign.
Falcon fans, I'll give you two. I think it's between Ozzie and Bird, of course, and then Rashad Evans. Outside of that, of course, you know my boy Elijah. I didn't want to throw Elijah in there, but
Elijah.
It's game time for me and Elijah, man. That's the homie. One time for the fan. Hit that like button, hit that share button, hit that subscribe button. We cooking today, boys, man. We excited.
You ask me?
Ask me the day you go to work. Oh, snap. We had to get to some of these segments, big dog. We rolling here.
I didn't have nobody really. Like, I mean, I really wasn't. This list, I mean, Mike Cole played his way onto it. If not our roster, somebody's roster. Okay?
No doubt.
Elijah did well enough to at least come back, maybe with the right numbers, or go to somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody else, I need new blood.
Mm-hmm. I think some fans are at that point now where we have the money. You're seeing some of these names come in the building. You're like, well, hold on. Before we resign some of these players, hold on a second. What else did Terry have in store? So I think some fans are like, let's see what Terry has first. There's some reasons why Rashad Evans is probably still in the market. Same for Ozzie.
I can tell you why.
Same for some of these other players.
If I see him get burnt by another damn tight end or a goddamn receiver again.
Well, you know, some things that happen in the preseason also happens in the regular season too as well. Head into the chat before we get to our next segment because we love talking with the Falcon fans. Hit that like button, hit that share button, hit that subscribe button. We're almost at 350 subscribers, y'all. So thank you to each and every one of you who's here supporting One Time for the Fan. We thank y'all. honestly, we really can't wait to get back to see these Falcons in action. We know about the OTA off-season workout program dates have been announced, and of course, there's going to be like a little small talk of players pulling up in their nice cars and going in there for their workouts and leaving, and Fox 5 can be standing outside like, oh, we think we saw Drake London in here. You know how it is. But it's just a good time to just see more of the Falcons get back closer to being back on that field. Of course, OTAs is really close to as well to the draft. So be prepared that when you see around April, I think 17th, you probably might see some names, jump into the Flowery Branch facility and go work out and do some of the programs over there and so forth. So be prepared for that, because the week or two after that is the draft.
Yeah.
So we're excited. Jabri is in the chat. He said, I love Goldman being back. Omiata Grady looking good, but these are still players that are getting up in age slowly. And I still love to have younger pass rusher in the round for longevity. We're going to talk about that here because we're getting ready to go to our draft in just a second here. We're going to get ready to get some insight here, because as Jabri just said, that's where Jalen Carter comes in. Some fans are going to agree. Some fans are going to disagree. But this right here, still have, you want to get a younger pass rusher in there?
You can't go wrong. And that's the thing. I'm getting back on my soapbox. You want to get the best talent you can possible, and he's the best talent possible. That talent like that, even you just gotta trust that your coaching and the players and the vets can get his mind on the right track, despite all the shit he's been through, and get him to counseling, whatever the hell you gotta do. All that. There's no reason why we can't pick him if he slips to 8. I don't even think he's gonna slip to 8, but I hope so.
To draft or not draft Jalen Carter? That is the question. Pamela Johnson here says Jalen will be gone by the time we pick number 8. We got about 15, 20 minutes here left in the show, so we might as well just go ahead and get to it. Josh Kendall, shout out to Josh Kendall from The Athletic, another person here who covers the Falcons. He was speaking the other day about why the Falcons would not draft Jalen Carter. And I can sit there and say, you know what? Kind of has a point. When he was talking about, the way the D-line is going to be shaping out, and, you really don't have a fit or a need for Jalen Carter right now if you go draft him. But then I'm sitting there thinking, like, well, you got David on a 3-year deal.
Mm-hmm.
You got Eddie Goldman coming back, which don't forget now, Josh Kendall did this report before the Eddie Goldman news. So now with the Eddie Goldman news coming in here, your D-line has pretty much more strength now, even if you go get Jalen Carter.
Yeah.
Grady Jarrett also rounding the corner to 30+2 as well. So you're going to need a young generational talent in the building. And of course, for Dog fans, they'd love to get Jalen Carter in here.
Of course.
They don't care about what happened after the season. I mean, I'm sure some do. Don't want to say it like that, but I'm sure they're going to bypass that to say, hey, look at the kid play. He's a problem on that field. You pair him next to Grady, you pair him next to David, and let's just say we was to go get Calais Campbell. Jesus Christ. It's about to get crazy in here. But Jalen Carter, for me, is still on my draft board. Now, there's some other names too as well that's on my draft board. But Bodie, Chase, Pamela Johnson said, "But Jalen, by the time we get to number 8, Jalen's gone." There's so many draft scenarios that can happen where Carter is going to be on the board at 8. Are you still selecting Jalen Carter if you have Jalen Carter and Christian Gonzalez on the board?
Chase and
Bodie.
I'm going Jalen Carter. I like Christian Gonzalez. He's going to be a star. I won't shy away from that at all. But Jalen Carter is just that guy. I may be another Dog fan that's just rubbing off on saying we need Jalen, but Jalen he's talented. He's somebody that Grady can mentor, somebody that Calais Campbell can mentor if that happens. So I mean, this is a guy like Bodie said, veterans and coaches, you got to be strong pointed enough to know that you can coach this guy to be that leader. So they say there's not a need really for him right now, but to have that spot secure for the future, to me, you don't get a Jalen Carter every draft.
And remember, as Chase mentions, Calais Campbell, it's if we get Calais Campbell, how he can mentor a young man like Jalen Carter. Don't forget about Grady Jarrett beside Jalen Carter. That is big too as well. David Amiata as well beside Jalen Carter. The leadership around Jalen Carter would definitely be there. And then you put him on the field beside some of these guys and just let him go. Just unleash the beast. It's possible. Looking at the draft, Carolina Panthers, Stroud or Young. Let's just say Stroud. Let's go with Stroud.
Stroud.
Houston Texans at 2. Has anybody even spoke about what the Houston Texans might do? Anybody talked about that?
They could go Will Anderson. I mean,
they can go and change up the draft. They can go wherever they want to go with this pick because everybody's talking about CJ Stroud to the Panthers or Bryce Young to the Panthers. For me, I see Houston taking a quarterback at 2. They're going to take either one that's available, or they're going to trade with the Colts and go back to 4. But let's just keep it on the board like nobody trades. Stroud to the Panthers, Bryce Young to the Texans, Will Anderson to the Cardinals.
Yeah.
The Colts now, I don't care. Anthony Richardson.
Will Levis.
They select you take Will Levis. Okay, so Chase will take Will Levis to the Colts. Bodie?
No, Will Levis is fine.
Will Levis. Okay, we'll go with Will Levis. Will Levis. You have CJ Stroud, you got Bryce Young, Will Anderson, Will Levis off the board. That's the first 4. Then you get to number 5 with the Seattle Seahawks.
Jalen Carter.
So, Chase, no trade up. Falcons did not pick up the phone. Seahawks send the pick in. You see them selecting Jalen Carter.
Yep. That's when it
For
comes
us to get Jalen Carter, I'm not going to say that Jalen Carter goes to the Seahawks. I'm going to say that they select Tyree Wilson from Texas.
That'd be a shocker, but he is very talented as well.
He is very talented too as well.
He is
6'6", huge guy.
Bodie, Seattle Seahawks at 5. Nobody's trading up. Draft is regular, normal night. Carter, you see him with the Seahawks, or do you see it Wilson?
I can see literally either way. I mean, but I think they'll go Carter if personally, but it can go either way. I don't have an inside source, but yeah, I can see go Carter.
If Carter for Chase and Bodie, if Carter does go to the Seahawks, then most fans here obviously see that you're not going to get Carter. So then that's when Christian Gonzalez name might pop up. A Luke Van Ness name might pop up, or even one of the other Georgia players too as well. Mr. Smith's name might pop up. But check this out. Let's just say Carter is still on the board because Seahawks take Tyree. Number 6 is the Lions. They probably go get Christian Gonzalez. So they take Christian Gonzalez. Number 7 is the Las Vegas Raiders. They select probably Anthony Richardson.
That's a Raiders pick.
Yeah, Anthony Richardson. Yeah.
You are now sitting at 8 with Carter, Smith, Luke Van Ness, Devin Witherspoon on the board at 8. This is the situation we're talking about. To draft or not draft Jalen Carter. I just gave you a scenario to where Carter might fall to 8. From right,
and it's a very likely scenario.
Possible if the Seahawks get Tyree Wilson and Christian Gonzalez goes to the Lions. Oh, your Falcon fans very prepared to be at 8, sitting there with Carter's name still on that board. If the Seahawks pass on Carter,
the Lions could grab.
Don't see it. Don't see it. Don't see it.
No.
Don't see it.
For that D line. Matthew
Hutchinson doing it with Hayden Richardson. What's his name?
Aiden
Hutchinson. Aiden Hutchinson and Jalen. That could be
nasty.
Savion made a good point last week. The Lions just signed 2 cornerbacks that are pretty much starter potential. So I'm giving a scenario where they draft Christian Gonzalez because they're looking for generational talent. Everybody is. Yeah. I'm just giving you a scenario of how you can get Jalen Carter without trading up. If you want to get Jalen Carter by trading up, just pick up the phone and call the Seahawks. Because Tyree will still be there at 8 too.
Yeah.
He'll be there at 5 or 8. Carter will be there at 5 or 8. You make a decision. It's a surprise, and it's going to be shocking to see Carter come off the board at number 2. That's my off-the-wall pick.
That would be
the
crazy.
Goddamn Texans just say, you know what? I don't want to hear the bullshit. Jalen Carter right here.
Texans would be
He'll
insane.
be fine in Houston. We got enough barbecue.
That'd be insane. That means they're still saying that Mills is their guy, which I highly doubt.
Yeah.
That shakes up the draft. So
Huge.
when it comes to draft night, Jalen Carter's on a lot of people's draft boards. Make no mistake. Is he on the Falcons draft board? I believe so.
I think so.
I definitely believe so. For them to show up at UGA's pro day like that, and what a lot of scouts and reps there from the Falcons. Oh, they're looking at a couple players.
Absolutely.
One also being another name, Nolan Smith.
Yep.
At 8, that's tough. That's tough. I'd love a draft. I'd love a trade back to get Jalen Carter. I mean, not Jalen Carter. Smith, Nolan Smith. But not at 8. Not at 8. Bodie, Nolan Smith at 8?
I wouldn't be against it. And not I know y'all see all this Georgia shit on my wall and like, yeah, he would say that. No, I mean, my guy is Nolan Smith. Man, how many 4-3 linebackers you know running out here?
He was projected top 10 at one point until the injury.
And I think that Ryan Nielsen is salivating all the blitz packages, all the packages I could put him in. Oh my goodness. He could have him come off the edge through the middle, on the left or the right side.
Blitzing with his linebackers. He
Bruh,
loves blitzing with his linebackers.
Look what he turned Ellison to, the linebacker we just
Mario
signed.
Davis
Ellis
as well.
was he was a freaking special teamer, okay? Like, he wasn't doing this. He stepped into that role and he made him good. So, I mean, look, he's
Troy Anderson.
Troy Anderson, I bet he's salivating at what he could do with Troy Anderson.
Man.
He got some people. So Nolan coming off the board at 8, wouldn't be mad at that. He could turn Nolan into a 10-sack guy, running 4-3, running right past all them big old linemen, running past everybody before they can even get their hands up. He damn near the quarterback. So we can't lose picking at 8. I don't think.
Falcon fans, couple players here that you can look for in round 1 on my draft board. One time for the fans, first ever mock draft for the round 1 or whatever they call it. I don't know what the fuck they do. Mel Kiper's on like mock draft like 6.7 right now. It's getting out of hand. 6.7. It's getting out of hand.
It's getting ridiculous. This one's got multiple trades in it.
Selected a player from France the other day. I said, Mel Kiper, who the hell is this player? Oh, the guy's good. You got to see the player.
Jacques.
What are you talking about, Mel?
Jeez.
Who the hell is Mel Kiper anyway?
Not Jacques.
Shout out to Mel Kiper, man. One time for the fan, first round players to watch for on our radar. Chase, you have some names too as well?
I got a couple.
Bodie, the professor. Yeah. Number 1 for me is Jalen Carter. Still. Christian Gonzalez would be number 2 for me. Devin Witherspoon would be number 3 for me. Nolan Smith would be number 4. And Lucas Van Ness would be number 5. Those are the 5 players that I'm going with. Oh, all defense? Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. That's how you do it. The off-the-wall pick for me is Peter Strowski from Northwestern.
Yeah.
Apparently, this kid can play tackle and guard. And he's a monster from looking at some of the tape that I've seen too as well. That's a Falcon. You've been Falconed when you pull up to Atlantic Station. With some of the names, Carter's on the board, and Smith is on the board, and Christian Gonzalez on the board, and Falcons select Peter Strowski from Northwestern.
Yeah,
we'll talk about it. We'll be live. But that's my off-the-wall pick. But outside of those 6 names, you can't give me another player right now that you can select at 8, trade up or trade down. You see, I haven't put Bijan Robinson in there. I didn't put Murphy, Miles from Clemson. I didn't put the kid Breezes from Clemson. Some of these names I just didn't throw in there. At the beginning, when the year first started, yeah, I had those names top on my list. Not now. Not a month before draft day. Carter, Christian Gonzalez, Devin Witherspoon, Nolan Smith, and Luke Van Ness. Off the wall pick is Peter Skrowski. That's it. Give it to you right there.
It's not sexy.
Give it to you right there. That's one of those players is going to end up in Atlanta draft night.
I agree.
Can't give me no more players. People talking about the branch. Shout out to Lieutenant Dan and everybody who's came in here and dropped some names on this podcast, and Myles Garrett and everybody. Shout out to everybody. But those are just the names that I see here at one time for the fan. Bodie, Chase, what names do y'all got? Round 1.
Same spot, no trade. No trade at 8. I think it's if Jalen's available, you got to go Jalen. If it's not Jalen, I'm going Christian Gonzalez. If it ain't Christian Gonzalez, I'm going Tyree Wilson. That's my
Chase
top 3.
put Tyree Wilson in the mix. Falcon fans, hear this. I didn't have Tyree Wilson on there. He's a phenomenal player. If you look at his tape, I think Ryan Nielsen will go crazy with Tyree Wilson too as well.
Fast for his size, man. 6'6".
For his size, 6'6". Yeah, he's getting after it. I believe they have their pro day coming up too as well. But he gets after it. So to see Tyree Wilson on Chase's radar right now is big, because my off the wall pick is the tackle guard from Northwestern. Chase is throwing Tyree in the mix. Professor Bodie, what do you have for us, sir?
I mean, y'all pretty much said the names. Isn't too many names we're going to veer off from those names. Jalen Carter, I feel like, yeah, if he's there, he's the pick. But if not, we'll probably do a corner, which Gonzalez does sound good. Hate to repeat exactly what you're saying, Chase. But
this is true. I mean,
it just makes sense.
Yeah.
Skronsky, I wouldn't even say he's off the wall pick. He's a pick that might damn happen, because he's that good. I think he's the best lineman in this class.
Yes.
And this shit might happen. It might not be as off the wall as you think it is. I will say that.
That's why I want the guard tackle. I want that guard position locked up before going into draft, where it's like,
Yeah.
you're sitting here with the starting position open. What is going on here, Falcons?
It's not the sexiest thing, but it's a need, just like Lindstrom.
And it is true. It's best player available too as well.
Lindstrom
That's what Terry's
worked out.
talking about.
Now later, years later, we're like, oh, thank God we got Lindstrom. But when we picked him, we was like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah, let me not butcher his name. It's Peter Skrowski?
Skronsky, I believe.
Skronsky. We'll call him Peter.
I've been hearing.
We'll call him PDP. So PDP, check this out. Falcon fans, check this out. Don't get upset if it is PDP on draft night, because like Bodie just said, he is the best offensive lineman in this draft. Says it right there. So if he is selected by the Falcons, there is a reason why he is selected by the Falcons, and we will talk about it here on One Time for the Fan. I'm gonna go quickly from that moment of sadness to, okay, what can he do? What can he do? Because, of course, fans have that emotional moment where they want to see the player drafted so they can go tell their friends, I told you, it's happening. But if it doesn't happen,
you have that emotional moment where you want to say, I told you.
Well, no, not really. No, not really. I mean, no, not really. Not me. Sorry about that, y'all. Damn, pollen kicking in. But, One Time for the Fan, we do respect everybody's opinion here, from the fans to the journalists to, of course, every podcaster who sits down here and talks with us, because everybody has their own opinion of what the Falcons can do and what the Falcons will do. But at the end of the day, Chase, Bodie, we just want to see the Falcons win.
Absolutely.
That's all we want to see the Falcons do, is see the Falcons win.
That's it.
Falcon fans, you heard some of the names we have here for round 1. Now, if you go back and listen to some of the podcasts from like a month ago, 2 months ago, there were some different names, because that's what the draft and the journalists and, some of these networks were feeding us. Closer to the draft, it's becoming more apparent of what you're getting ready to do, especially with the free agents. A week before the draft, we're about to be locked in. We're sitting there like, bruh, we already know, bruh, it's just hard, bruh.
Super locked in.
You're going to find out soon. If the Falcons go out there and go sign a big name guard to fill that position, if they go sign a backup running back, if they go sign another wide receiver, I mean, you're going to look at small spots that's opening up where what can the Falcons do in what round and what fits? So look at that. What can the Falcons do in what round and what's going to fit? I don't see the tight end. Lisa Shepard's right here too as well. I don't see us drafting for a tight end. I mean, how many tight end sets can Arthur Smith call? There's like 6 on the roster right now.
Yeah.
So
and that's
tough.
We have 3 tight ends out there, 4 tight ends even. I think once. I like we run the piss out the ball. Okay, it's just the way it is. So I get the Jonnu Smith trade. That made all the sense to me.
That'd be crazy with an all tight end set. Got Pitts, got Jonnu, got Parker, got what the hell is going on?
Yeah, Miko Hart. Michael Pruitt out there. Yeah, everybody.
Falcon fans, bring your questions, bring your comments here to the chat. We talked about the draft tonight. We talked about a little bit about free agency, some of the offseason moves the Falcons have made. Personally, I think we're doing a good job right now in the offseason. Terry is setting up some solid deals. I must say he's finessing. He's finessing. But that's what you have to do in this game. You have the GM. You have to give the fans what they want. We called Jesse Bates. Fans called Jesse Bates for weeks, for months. That video came out with him chilling downtown Atlanta. Boy, fans went crazy. Fans went crazy when Jesse Bates was out there chilling with what was it, Pitts and Terrell and them?
He was with all his agents and
bruh. Right after the season ended.
We called it. Falcon fans, you got to see some of these moves that's being made. We can't wait for this season to start. Anthony White is here. He said, B, they overpaid for Jesse Bates a bit and still haven't addressed the edge position. But besides that, solid free agent class so far. That's where the edge, you got to look at that draft, folks.
Tyree.
You got some of these names we're throwing out here. I mean, if they surprise us and give us a name that we just never talked about, I don't know how we're going to look at this podcast.
Even the in-house guys we got, AK Malone. We still
AK
got some
Malone.
They haven't even scratched the surface yet, and Nielsen's going to work his magic because that's what he's a whisperer. He's an edge whisperer. He's a pass rush whisperer. So we're looking at that.
Signing of Lorenzo Carter, that could be your edge. I mean, that could be your solidified edge.
Yeah,
and then right now he is listed as the edge too as well.
Yeah, so then the overpaying. I mean, yeah, you got to overpay for good talent. Otherwise,
somebody's going to pay it.
Somebody will. Somebody else. If you don't, somebody else will. And they didn't break the bank for them. It wasn't like giving them $20 million a year or something. So I applaud what they did do. That's the best safety in the market. He got that. Got that bet going for him right there.
Terrell Johnson in the chat. What's up, fellas? What's up, Terrell?
It's cracking, man.
Terrell.
Jeff Wolf in the chat. Falcon fans is in the chat. They're talking Falcons football. My phone started messing up. What did PFF grade us for free agency? They gave us a B. They gave the Panthers a B. But they gave them a B minus. They gave the Saints a Q. I don't know what the hell that is. Those damn dirty ain't. Saints got a C. Bucks got a B. And like Eric Parker says, don't look at this shit on paper. Let them hit the field. So we're going to see what happens when these Falcons hit the field. But if you're going off the off-season free agency grades with some of the transactions we made and some of the players we brought in, I'm at an A with the Falcons. I've been a Falcon fan a long time. And seeing some of the way Terry made these moves and brought in some of these players, bro.
Best free agency in the past 5-6 years.
Bro, what? Bro, what? One of the best free agencies I've had here since, man. I ain't going to lie, bro. When the Julio years, like the first couple years of Julio, like when Julio got drafted, it was like, bro, you know, went crazy.
Yeah.
I'm getting that level back to where it's like, bro. Finna go slap out here on these boys, man. Now people hitting me up like they playing with the Falcons first on Madden. I can't pick the Falcons. Like, what the hell? Who the hell you? What the hell? What team I finna play with? Boy, stop. What's out your damn mind? Talking about you finna pick the Falcons first. Boy, get your ass. Tim Riley said, Dirty Bird Nation Die Hard is in the house. I believe Eddie Goldman is a player that nobody expected to return. Chase
Not a
Bodie,
soul.
it caught us off guard, right? We're sitting there in the chat talking about Yannick and all these other players. Next thing you know, Eddie Goldman. I went to Twitter. I posted. I was like, wait, I said, what? I said, Eddie Goldman. I said, from the Temptation.
I hit him with a resounding what though.
God. I showed fans was looking at the post that I did on Facebook. Like, wait, oh, hold on. Are you spamming us right now? Like, I ain't spamming, bro. This is real. Jalen Carter is not Jalen Carter. Eddie Goldman is unretired.
Yeah,
that was big news.
Saints fan messing with us or something.
If Saints fans were pissed, they were like, well, bro, they got David Omeade, they got Eddie Goldman and Grady Jarrett. Jesus Christ, what the fuck? Cam Jordan, can you play offense? No, he can't. No, he can't. And like Cam said, when the fan tried to, when David Omeade got selected, when he got traded to the Falcons, or we signed him, Cam Jordan said, man, we're really going to miss David. And a fan was in the comment section and said, don't worry. Our offensive guard and tackle is going to take care of him. Cam was like, boy, you really don't know how strong that man is, do you? This is Cam telling a Saints fan that. Like, bro, chill out. Like, you're in section 537. Like, chill out. You don't see what I see every day on there. David is a problem. So shout out to the Falcons making that move too as well. Ryan Nielsen said he's going to bring Louis with him. Said it. Falcons fans in the chat. If they are comfortable with Jalen outside of football, they can't ignore the film, man.
Simple as that. Simple as that. And I would have felt the same way if he played for Wyoming State Community College.
Talk about it, Tim. That's something that you could really, really look at in a later round.
Falcon fans, we're getting ready to wrap up this show here. We want to get to the chat here. Tim Riley said, I would be happy to draft Carter or Tyree at 8. At number 44, the Atlanta Falcons select quarterback. What? Quarterback Tennessee. Hendon who? Hendon
Somebody's going to fall
in the
late.
second round. Tim Riley.
Yeah, well, I'll say this. I don't think Hendon Hooker's going on day 2 at all.
No,
he's a day 3. He's a Saturday
prospect.
Three or four.
A good day 3 prospect.
Yeah.
I'll be looking at him in day 3.
I need, especially with Tyler, I need my first 5 round players on the field week 1.
Some kind of capacity.
Some type of way. I need my first 5 rounds on the field week 1. I know you have 8 picks out there, and you're not going to use all of them, but I need the first 5 picks on the field week 1.
Agreed.
Hendon Hooker is going to be a nice backup, possibly a solid starter here in the future. But in the second round on day 2, we're going to wake up and go watch Hendon Hooker be selected from the Falcons.
Oh,
that's
God, not
tough.
Second.
That's tough.
We pick him in the second. He probably going to play eventually.
Yeah.
Tyree got a doctor's note, not participating in the pro day. So Tyree Wilson will not be participating in the Texas Tech pro day. So whatever you see on film, man, is on film, man.
That's what it is.
His film's legit.
Antonio Holloway's in the building. What's up, guys?
What's cracking, man?
Falcon fans, before we get up out of here, any questions you have about the draft, free agency, the Falcons off season so far, we are here to answer it because we love talking with all the Falcon fans. Special guest co-host last week, Big Low Country Sports.
What in the world, Bo?
One world, Bo. I tell you what's in the world. Them tire marks you left, them dirt marks you left from my damn driveway last week. Pulling up to the podcast.
No, you didn't peel off like that, Big Low. No, you didn't donut his yard. Good job.
He over there talking to Savion. I'm watching the camera. He talking to Savion. All right, big dog. Pulling out, but smoke, tires, everything.
Sheesh.
Jeff Wood said, why would we draft a corner when the easiest way to affect the opposing team's passing game is by getting to the quarterback?
Because cornerback was a major problem last year, Jeff.
Jeff Wolf, do you remember when AJ Terrell went down? Do you remember the time? Do you remember Darren Hall and Cornell Armstrong?
It's good to build depth. I think we can build depth on the D line. We already done it, especially with Goldman coming back. So that'll help everybody. And then the players we signed in free agency, getting Lorenzo back, getting Ellis. Now it's secondary. I don't think. I mean, we signed a couple corners. Well, we signed Mike Hughes
Signed
and
Mike Hughes. He brought back Cornell Armstrong.
Cornell
that's it.
Armstrong. But
Mike Hughes seems to be leaning toward the slot. I see a lot of Falcon
Mike
fans
Hughes is going to take that Isaiah Oliver role. Yeah. That's him. They the same person.
Yeah.
Okay. We still don't have. I mean, we got old boy. What's his name? Who got hurt?
D. Alford.
I mean, yeah, we got D. Alford. I'm talking about the other
Hayward. Casey
Hayward. I was drawing a blank. We got him, but he's coming off an injury. So, like, even with him, we was pretty kind of bad in secondary, but we couldn't get to the quarterback. That was one thing. Us being able to get to the quarterback should help our secondary, no matter who's back there. So, I still think we're going to bring in a corner eventually. Yeah, if it's first or later.
Chase, you can piggyback off this too as well. Now, if you're talking about like just drafting the cornerback in round 1, Jeff Wolf, versus in the draft, round 2, 3, 4, and 5, I think you're still going to draft the cornerback, even if you don't draft one in the first round. But if you're looking at your secondary right now, you're going to pay Terrell soon. Mm-hmm. So, he's going to be a Falcon for life. Casey Hayward's coming off from that major injury. I think he's also in his 30s too as well. You now have Mike Hughes here on a 1-year deal. Cornell Armstrong's back on a 1-year deal. I believe D. Offer is here for his last year. Outside of AJ Terrell, you don't have another cornerback that's going to be here for the long term, which is why I was looking at the wide receiver 2 position when they signed Mac Hollins, and I was thinking, well, why didn't they sign a wide receiver 2 here for the long term? They're not ready to yet. But clearly, you can see it. I mean, Drake London's going to be here for some years. He's going to probably be a Falcon for life, hopefully. But when Mac London's done with this year, you still need a wide receiver 2. When Casey's done with this year, you're going to need a
Mac London?
Huh?
You called him Mac London.
Mac London? I did.
I'm sorry.
When Mac Hollins is finished this year, you're going to need a wide receiver 2.
Hope he play like Mac London. Drake London.
Which is why some fans were like, "Oh, you got to draft back up in early in the second, late in the first. You got to go get Addison. Johnston from TCU's dropping. You got to go find a way to get him. Let's let Terry do what Terry do, huh?
Johnston's dropping
from where he was originally. He was like
first he was top 10, but now he's dropping from top 10. But that's because other talents are ascending. So, I mean, it ain't even. I don't even think it's on there. Yeah, it's just other talents have just ascended. And, receiver is deep in this class, so you can get a receiver all through this draft. You can get a Hyatt from Tennessee in the third, fourth, or something.
That's crazy.
Now, Jeff Wolf, if your 2 players that the Falcon fans were speaking about, I mean, people wanted Will Anderson too as well. They're like, trade up for Will. Okay, you're not going to get him. Jalen Carter, if he's off the board, and you're sitting in that room with, Christian Gonzalez and Devin Witherspoon and Nolan Smith, I ain't gonna lie, dog. I'm a Georgia guy, man, but I'm gonna have to go get either Devin Witherspoon or Christian Gonzalez, bro.
Gonzalez crushed the combine, dude.
Like, he is just a problem, bro. It's a 6'1" corner that he's probably gonna be playing on the outside. He's probably gonna be playing every single snap, bro.
Ran a 4.3.
Vert, stupid Vert.
He's that guy, bro. He's that guy. I believe from watching some of the Oregon tape, I didn't see too many people throw his way either.
He's
got that AJ Terrell lockdown banner, bro.
After Georgia torched him week 1, he was great.
We're Georgia.
That whole team got torched, though. That's that.
Got a couple minutes here before we wrap up. I was downtown ATL on Friday and was wearing a Falcon shirt. I passed an ain't, and he yelled, we don't yell that here, at me. I was like, sir, I'm not an ain't. Side eye. If you would have had a drink, I would have thrown the drink at him. I would have said, right in your face.
Really? You gonna come in this city? You lucky you didn't get jumped.
Crazy part is probably from Atlanta.
Oh my God.
One time for the fan. Joseph Avery's back up in here. Say, hey, fellas, what's up? I like the free agency signings, and I am glad they didn't go after Lamar. Do we still talk about that here? One time for the fan? I think Ritter would be just fine. We still got the draft coming. We would do good. Go Falcons. Joseph Avery.
Appreciate you.
We're bringing back the grits blitz, Joe.
Yeah, I really think we are, honest to truth. We might be bringing back that grits blitz 2.0 this season. We got a lot of guys can get the quarterback. I'm excited. And we got a pass rushing guru.
Update: Falcons in the talks for acquiring Corey Davis from the Jets wide receiver.
That's that speedy.
Atlanta Falcons Titans.
That's that speedy receiver.
Hey man, I like
That's an
Corey
Arthur
Davis.
Smith pick, wasn't it?
Yeah, he was a Titan, and he went to the Jets, and yeah, I like it.
That's a good sign. Yeah, I'm cool with that. And then you don't bring back Zacchaeus.
One time for the fan. We went over a lot tonight because we are diehard Atlanta Falcon fans. Shout out to everybody who was here in the chat, chatted up with us on YouTube, on Facebook. We got some people who's listening on Spotify and Apple Podcasts and Google Podcasts and Anchor. So shout out to everybody. You can catch us a lot now this year. I know a lot of people was talking about that last year, about where you guys going to be when it comes to, we can watch you guys on YouTube, or where can we listen to you guys? Apple Podcasts, Spotify, radio podcasts, Stitcher, YouTube. You can watch us, Facebook too as well. We might even start going live on Twitter. I actually even been thinking about doing Twitch soon too as well. A lot of people's been moving over to the Twitch platform. So shout out to everybody who's out here producing great content here within the Atlanta Falcons community. Chase, Bodie, great show tonight. Falcon fans was once again active in the chats, giving us ideas and telling us what they think about the Atlanta Falcons coming up. But any shout outs for you all tonight before we go ahead and get up out of here?
Yeah, man. Shout out, like I say, like every show, man. Shout out to the new followers. Shout out to everybody that tuned in tonight. Stayed up with us tonight to talk some Falcon football. Without you guys, this show wouldn't really be anything. We'd just be a bunch of guys sitting here talking. So definitely appreciate y'all. Shout out to the Falcons. Shout out to Terry and, some of his smart moves of what he's done this offseason. Shout out to y'all boys. And just shout out to this year just coming up, man. This season coming up, I'm ready to get back on the road, ready to see the Falcons in action.
Chase, of course, you mentioned the other day, like you was just like super excited to talk Falcons football. Like you wanted to talk Falcons football Thursday. I think it was Friday, Saturday. So Falcon fans, be prepared for any pop-up show that may happen here at One Time for the Fan, because it's the off season and there are some things that, if it gets too much flooded with what we have to talk about on Sunday, we might have to do a pop-up show, because if we don't do a Wednesday show during the week, we'll have to find another day to crank something up. But the other night, it was so much going on with us talking with the Falcons. Chase was like, bro, I'm trying to go live right now, bro. Call the company and see if they can go ahead and cut the cable. Bro, I'm telling you, what we do here at One Time for the Fan, we love the Atlanta Falcons. When it comes to the organization, the team, we want to see the team win. So you never know when a pop-up show might happen. Bodie 3000, any shout-outs for you, sir, before we get up out of here?
Yeah, man, just shout out to everybody tuning in, man. Appreciate y'all every week, every show we have, y'all showing love. I mean, same gratitude back to you guys. Shout out to y'all. I mean, it's just great to root on the team. We all want change. We all got these opinions. Everybody's opinion it's just a beautiful, nice little section where we can just all bring their opinions to the table and debate them, or whatever we got to do. So I'm grateful for this platform. I'm grateful for being here, and it's just great to be able to voice your opinion. I'm grateful for shout out YouTube. I can just throw my shit up here and just talk shit. This is different, man. They couldn't do this in '94. It's what a time to be alive. So, man, shout out to everybody, man. Go Falcons. Rise up.
Falcon fans, I must say,
I wish it too.
Hey, let me tell you something, man. Every day we wake up, it's like something else. Either it's going on with the Atlanta Falcons, going on with the NFL. So we're in the chat talking football 24/7. 2, 3 in the morning, we might find an article. Throw it in the One Time for the Fan chat, because we never want to forget it. We got to talk about it because fans want to hear about it. Some of the things you hear on this podcast, fans want to hear about it. When we spent almost a month and a half talking about Lamar, fans wanted to hear about it. This is the first time tonight on the show I just mentioned that name. I just said we spent a whole month and a half talking about that guy.
Yeah.
Because that's what the media was talking about. That's what the Falcons community was talking about. So here at One Time for the Fan, we're diehard fans. And, we just want to bring as much content as we can to you all so you all can enjoy it. So shout out to everybody who was in the chat tonight. Tech is trash. Shout out to everybody. Shout out to everybody who's been supporting One Time for the Fan. Once again, you all been just so supportive of the podcast, and we want to see you guys post more and go live more. So thank you all. We're listening to a lot of feedback from you all, and we have some really cool stuff coming up. Don't want to say too much just yet. We got some cool stuff coming up. Huh?
Budget going up.
Budget is going up real soon, I must say. I mean, this year is going to be pretty exciting for the Atlanta Falcons. Falcons spending money. Hell, we got to spend some money too. Got no choice. But shout out to, once again, all the Falcon fans in the chat. Don't forget, you can catch us on Twitter right there. If you have Twitter, just go ahead and follow us on Twitter. We'll follow back. We are diehard Atlanta Falcon fans. One Time for the Fan on Twitter. You can find us on Facebook. One Time for the Fan on Facebook. Don't forget, you can listen to the podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google. Just type us in. You'll see us. Subscribe to the channel. YouTube, One Time for the Fan. If you love the show, please, tag another Falcons friend. Bring them in here next time. We love having special guests on the show. Anybody wants to be a special guest on the show, let us know so we can get you all in here. Otherwise than that, I think we are good for the night. Bodie, Chase, one time for Atlanta Falcons, one time for Chase, one time for Bodie, one time for what's that dude's name who used to be on the podcast a couple weeks ago? Boo Man.
Elroy?
That's his name. Elroy. One time for Elroy. Hopefully we'll find him. We'll get him back in here. TikTok, Lemon Pepper TV. No ER, just the A. Lemon Pepper TV. All right, now go check it out on TikTok. I'm telling you right now, we got some exclusive content coming up. Lemon Pepper TV. That's all I'm going to say. One time for the Atlanta Falcons, one time for the fan. We up out of here.